Hi, I'm Christina Applegate.
And I'm Jamie-Lynn Sigler.
And this is Messy.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Messy. First and foremost, I just want to thank you guys for still tuning in and listening when it's just little old me. You know, I'm still here for you guys. I love you. I love our engagement. I love what we're doing here. I love seeing it go beyond MS and it really just being about life and how we're all acknowledging what we're feeling and what we're going through and how we're navigating it. And it's messy and it's beautiful and it's heartbreaking and it's all the things because that's the human experience. It would be super boring if it was all vanilla, you know? Not to say that brighter days ahead won't be welcome, but I guess we wouldn't really even know they were brighter days if we didn't have the contrast sometimes. So we're all here for you. And again, I just appreciate you guys hanging in there with me. So today is an email episode and I'm going to get right to it. This first message is from Ingrid. Dear Christina and Jamie, your podcast helps people in ways you may not realize. My cousin/dear friend has been diagnosed with a degenerative neurological disease called iLoca. It has some similarities to MS, and partly for her sake, I listen to your podcast. Besides very entertaining, it's very informative. My cousin doesn't want to know much about her disease. She hardly researches it, which is totally fine. Who determines how she should deal with it? So I research for her, and I give her bits of information I think could be helpful. Therefore, I have given her lots of tips that came from your podcast, so thank you so much. Also, I have read both your books and even love you more now. I'm from the Netherlands, so given the size of our country, I'm basically neighbors to your family, Christina. Please continue your podcast for the sake of so many more people than you realize. Love, Ingrid. Oh, how beautiful. Thank you. It's kind of like what I was just saying. Everybody has, you know, different reasons for tuning in, but we're all connected no matter what. And I want to tell you first, Ingrid, that your cousin's reaction to her diagnosis is very similar to mine. Even kind of to this day, like sometimes I just don't want the information. I was actually talking to my doctor yesterday. I went for sort of this kind of checkup / like, I don't know, kind of like reboot, like, do we need to shake up supplements and peptides and hormones and things? Because I'm not feeling optimal and I want to try for more. And I was telling her that on the way to her office, I was kind of hit with this like loop in my head of equal parts frustration that, you know, comes along with anything chronic in your life. In my case, particular, an illness. But then also just like but here I am driving to my doctor's office, not giving up. I can't give up. Like I can't just let this thing swallow me whole. I don't want all of the information, but I'm not giving up. And I sort of have beat myself up sometimes of feeling like maybe I would feel better or have better healing modalities if I was like obsessive with research. But thankfully, I have a husband like you, Ingrid, who kind of does that for me. And I'm very grateful for that. And if you didn't listen to the episode with Cutter, check it out because he's a gem. Although right now I'm about to get my period and I don't think so. But with all of that said, then I got to my doctor's office and she's amazing. Her name is Dr. Brooke Stubbs. Give a shout out to her. She has this practice here in Austin called Rooted Femme. She is the smartest person I've ever met in my life, but also just one of the gentlest and sort of really sees the whole picture. Like she loves science, she loves facts, but she also believes in God and really has just such a deep faith and understanding and sort of perspective around illness and wellness and the body. And we talked a lot about identity and how there might be this small piece of me somewhere that is holding on to this identity with MS and of MS. And Look, I think that comes along with any like chronic illness, any trauma, anything that you've been carrying for a long time, in my particular case, 25 years. And really trying to feel like, even if my physical circumstance doesn't change, how can I remove that part? I really feel like that's been my focus lately because, look, I talk a lot about MS on this podcast. When people interview me, it's really what people want to know most about, because I guess I don't really have much else going on at the moment as far as my career and things, and that's a whole other thing. But I have to be careful for my own sake that I'm not identifying too much with it, and I'm understanding that I am more beyond this, and sometimes even focusing on my health and wellness is not just about MS, if that makes sense. So, it's just this ever evolving thing where I'm really trying to, on one hand, appreciate and acknowledge my efforts and my fight, like I said, that I just can't give up. Sometimes I wish I could be that and just throw in the towel and let this thing just sort of take its course, but it's just not my nature. So acknowledging that, but then also trying to soften around that and not have it be more of like, I don't know, like an allowing, like a gentle approach. It's a supportive, instead of this kind of like, I don't know, gritty, aggressive task, like list checking thing. You know what I mean? I guess what I'm trying to say is I want to have more softness around that. And I think initially a lot of my efforts around that was sort of not learning about the disease. And that's what made me think of this. But if anybody's sort of in my sort of similar situation, no matter what it is that you're dealing with, let's try to be softer about it. Let's try to, again, acknowledge our fight. And maybe when we just appreciate more things about ourselves and feel softer around them, there might be some healing for us. TBD. I'll get back to you and let you know. Okay, this next one is from Lexi. Hi, Christina and Jamie. I was looking for a new podcast to listen to a few weeks ago, and Messy happened to come up. I don't think it was an accident that I found it. I have been living with symptoms of what almost clearly points to MS since I had my second C-section in 2015, and it seems like new things have been popping up and worsening over the last few years. I've been to multiple rheumatologists, neurologists, and endocrinologists over the years, and I'm always told that my symptoms are so nonspecific that there's no answer. I recently started seeing a new rheumatologist who thinks my symptoms point to either MS or fibromyalgia. I'm scheduled to see a new neurologist in a few weeks, and I'm hoping to finally get some answers. My question for you is, how long did it take to get a diagnosis, and how can I advocate for myself after years of being dismissed? I absolutely love your show and appreciate how candid you both are about your journey. Hugs and love, Lexi. Lexi, I was diagnosed immediately. The spinal tap and MRI showed the lesions, showed the evidence that they needed to diagnose me. And I think, I can't speak for Christina, but you are advocating for yourself. You are not taking no for an answer. And you are intuitively seeing more doctors and getting more opinions and not giving up, not dismissing your symptoms. You are advocating for yourself. You're doing all of the right things. You know what? We have a guest on Living With It soon called Amy Kurtz. She wrote a book called You Still Look Fine, and she talks a lot about this. Her first book, Kicking Sick, as well. She speaks to patient advocacy, how hard she had to fight herself for a diagnosis, and all that entailed. She's a great resource for you to sort of find the strength, find the questions to ask. I have this patient decision guide that I release with Novartis that's more about specific questions to ask if and when you get diagnosed with MS, like around treatment. But until then, yeah, I think I'd send you Amy Kurtz's way. because she has the experience and I think the support that you're looking for and that you need. And I hope that you find an answer that makes you feel safe and motivated and finally under the umbrella of care that you're needing. And I'm so sorry to hear the road that you've been on, but I hope it changes soon. Okay, this next one is from Sabrina. Dear Messy Podcast team, I wanted to take a moment to thank you for creating a podcast that has been such an encouragement during one of the most challenging seasons of my life. I've been living with multiple sclerosis for the past 23 years. I was diagnosed at 26 years old, and since then I've learned that life rarely follows the path we expect. Despite the challenges MS has brought, including mobility issues and the uncertainty that comes with a progressive disease, I raised 3 amazing children, built businesses, and continued moving forward one day at a time, all in secret, because I was told not to tell anyone. I was told I would lose my job and don't go to support groups because it would just be sob stories. So not true. It's truly inspiring to go to support groups, and that is why I will be starting my own support group through the National MS Society, where we listen to your podcast and discuss your sessions. Oh my God! Today, I find myself beginning another unexpected chapter. After nearly 30 years together and 24 years of marriage, I'm going through divorce. It's a season filled with grief, uncertainty, and rediscovering who I am outside of the life I once knew. While it hasn't been easy, I'm choosing to believe that this chapter can also be one of growth, purpose, and hope. Your podcast has been a companion through many of these moments. I appreciate your honesty, your vulnerability, and willingness to talk about the messy parts of life that so many people experience but often keep hidden. Your conversations have reminded me that it's okay to not have everything figured out, and that there can still be beauty and purpose in the middle of life's hardest seasons. Listening to your episodes has encouraged me to embrace my own story instead of hiding it. As someone who has spent over 2 decades navigating MS while raising a family and now learning to start over, your message has resonated deeply with me. Thank you for using your platform to bring hope, authenticity, and encouragement to people like me. Please know that your work is making a difference. Wishing you continued success and many more conversations that help people realize they are not alone. With gratitude, Sabrina. Oh, Sabrina. Well, first and foremost, thank you for all the beautiful things that you said. And oh my God, how I'm like so moved that you've created this group to sort of discuss what we talk about here and let that be sort of a jumping point for you guys to open up and share in the ways that you need. How beautiful. I love that you started that and have found that. And I admire you. I admire you for choosing yourself and choosing your happiness. Divorce is not easy. While I didn't have a long first marriage or children, it was one of the most painful experiences of my life. But one of the things that I've learned over time is divorce doesn't mean failure. It's just the end of a chapter. And perhaps this is the beginning of a beautiful one for you. Who knows what's around the corner? Who knows who's around the corner? But you knowing that you are brave enough, strong enough, capable enough to step forward on this very unknown path, I applaud you and admire you. And I hope you reach out again and update us, putting yourself back out in the world without, a person that has been on a very specific ride with you is scary. I couldn't imagine it. I'm just very inspired by you and your story, and I really appreciate you sharing. And again, I know that someone listening, at least someone, needed to hear everything that you just said.
Support for Messy comes from Radiance Collagen. Fundamental question. Why do we let ourselves age? Aging is very different than getting older. Getting older means more shared experiences and time with loved ones. That's a gift. Aging is a choice. So how do I align myself with healthy aging? Well, for my mind, I meditate. And for my body, I've added one new ingredient into my routine, collagen. And my favorite collagen is Radiance by Brick House Nutrition. We start losing collagen after the age of 30. So whether you're 25 or 75, this supplement is so beneficial. Here are some of the top benefits I see from collagen. Joint support, which means less waking up sore, stiff. Muscle recovery, especially if you're doing any resistance training. And skin health. Your skin is your body's first line of defense against the outside world. That's why it is so important to start it from within. If you don't feel a real difference in your health, you get your money back, by the way, no questions asked. I got you 20% off and free shipping when you go to brickhousenutrition.com and use code MESSY. That's brickhousenutrition.com and use code MESSY. Support for Messy comes from CB Distillery. When was the last time you woke up and actually felt rested or got through a day without feeling totally stressed out? Yeah. Over 50% of adults say they'd feel better if they got more sleep, and stress is often the biggest barrier. That's why CBD from CB Distillery makes so much sense. CB Distillery has natural solutions for sleep and stress that can help break that vicious stress-sleep cycle. And everything from CB Distillery is premium quality, third-party tested, and free from artificial dyes or fillers. They're the source I trust, and so do 2 million other happy customers. You can shop by benefit, whether you want better sleep, less stressed, improved focus, pain relief after workouts, or even something for your pets. It's all right there. So if you're ready to start sleeping better, stressing less, and just feeling good again, check out CB Distillery. Visit cbdistillery.com and use my code MESSY for 25% off. That's cbdistillery.com, code MESSY, cbdistillery.com. Specific product availability depends on individual state regulations.
Okay, this next one is from Michelle. Dear Christina, Jamie, and Allison, fuck MS. I'm a big fan of shrinking, same girl, and have started encouraging that greeting for anyone with a sucky disease. I started listening to y'all about 6 months ago, and I'm so grateful for your willingness to be vulnerable and real. I've had relapse-remitting MS for 20 plus years and didn't realize how badly I needed to feel seen until you gave that to me. I've wanted to write forever, but didn't feel like I should until I'd listened to every episode, so I've been thinking about this message for a while. I was going to share my MS story and enjoy Christina hating my ex-husband for me and so many other things that I felt I wanted to tell you. But this weekend, I went on a trip with my son and his best friend to a World Cup game. My son's Christmas/birthday/graduation, but she wrote Christmas birthation present. It was so fucking hard, and no one I know really gets it, so I'm writing to you. There's a level of nervousness that unfortunately comes with the territory when you're a woman traveling alone with kids in an unfamiliar place. But I wasn't prepared for the added layer of nearly paralyzing anxiety that came with being a disabled woman traveling alone with 2 kids. Sorry, I'm getting emotional. Okay, they're 17, but they're not exactly incapable, but you know what I mean. I feel like I spent 3 days in fight or flight mode because I was worried something would go wrong and I literally wouldn't be able to resolve it. You know how it is. I'm the mom. I'm supposed to be able to fix things and have the answers and be the support. But I couldn't trust that my body would allow me to do that, and it was terrifying. My body was definitely not cooperating. As you know, MS bodies are prone to do when removed from the safe space of home. Add insult to injury. I took the elevator as far as I could, but had to climb 25 stairs at the stadium while using my fabulous new FUMS Neo walk stick, which we refer to as my pimp stick because I don't like the C word. But even though I'd love to think all the eyes I felt were just staring at my awesome stick, I know they were watching me struggle. And those same eyes watched me have to hang on to my son's arm and limp my way back to the car after the game. And yes, they do have wheelchairs and golf carts that I probably should have taken advantage of, but you have to sit and wait forever with the other infirm people who also need assistance, which felt more othering than lurching across the parking lot. But in hindsight, I was probably wrong about that. My sweet son is never anything less than supportive. He doesn't hesitate to adjust to whatever I need. But I know there was more he wanted to do on this trip that I just couldn't say yes to. I know he sensed my stress and then stopped asking, and I fucking hate that. We got back today, and it's like my body let go of the adrenaline and stress that was running on for 3 days, and I just collapsed mentally and physically. I know I'm supposed to be happy that I did this despite the struggle, but my grief is so heavy today, and I wanted to tell someone who'd know exactly how I feel. I can't thank you enough for being that touchstone. Much love to you all. I'm sorry I cried through that whole thing because, Michelle, you just made me feel so seen. You just helped me so much not feel alone in a struggle that I have all the time with my boys. My boys are smaller right now, almost 13 and 8, but I go through this every time I leave my house, I feel like. Last night, I took them to the Dude Perfect show here in Austin. Every boy mom in the greater Austin area was there with their kids. And Christina, I had talked about it before, like the lead up, like the anxiety and stress that I don't express to anyone that I'm feeling leading up to anything where I have to navigate basically outside my home or the few places that I go to on the regular that I know I can navigate is all consuming. One of my best friends, Kelty, was there, and that's why Cutter feels comfortable like letting me go without him, he says, because she knows me so well and knows my body and knows how to sort of take over, which I'm grateful for. But it still doesn't take away how hard it is. And the way you described the eyes on you when you struggle is something I've had a hard time finding a way to express that you just did so beautifully. I won't even try to repeat it or say it another way. I feel that all the time, and I hate it. And I know that the people aren't judging me. I know that people aren't thinking the awful things that I'm thinking in my head or having the anger or resentment or frustration that I am, but I don't want them to look at me. I don't want the stares, and I don't want to take the wheelchair, and I don't want to wait with everybody for it. I totally get it. I see you. I feel you. But I want to say this. I am so proud of you for going. You knew it was going to be hard before you left. You knew it was going to be difficult, but I want you to know something. I promise you that your son is not thinking about the things that he missed. He's not thinking about what more he could have done. He went home thinking, my mom's a fucking badass. My mom struggles and she still showed up for me and went, and it was hard for her, and I love her, and I know he had a great time. And if you ever feel comfortable, maybe tell him this. Tell him how you're feeling, and maybe he'll make you feel better. It's such a growing, healing, connecting moment for you guys. I'm sorry, I'm such a mess right now about this. Wow, you really hit home for me right now. But thank you so much for finally writing in, and thank you so much for sharing. I can't even tell you how much you've helped me, and I know you've helped other people. You're not alone, and it is okay that you collapsed and had a heavy grief day. And I know that you're going to get back up and keep going and keep moving, and it's possible, and I'm with you. And the next big thing you do, I just want you to take more moments of acknowledging that everyone around you doesn't feel held back. They're actually thinking how awesome you are. Let me gather myself. Next one. Okay. This one is from Marie. Hi, Jamie. I just wanted to let you know that your book is really great. It's taken me this long to read it, but I know you understand. I try to find free time, and when I do, I can read. Well, we do have a bit in common. My daughter, Maddie, has spent 2 summers at theater camp at the Cultural Arts Playhouse in Syosset. I love it. While you were doing The Sopranos, I actually worked at HBO 2000 to 2005 at 1100 Avenue of the Americas. On 9/11, I was at my HBO office and had to walk over the 59th Street Bridge to get home. Such a sad, sad day in New York. Dr. Apatow has been my neurologist since 2011. I see him at least twice a year. Oh yeah, and we both have MS. I was diagnosed in 1992. At that time, I was working for Matt Blank at Showtime. I told him right away because he was a fantastic boss and I trusted him. I was able to work full-time for many years. Anyway, I just wanted to thank you again for the support you and Christina provide to me. It really means a lot. Not many people understand what we go through. Your friend, Marie. So many things in common. I love it. Tell your daughter and you yourself, if you see him, Bruce Grossman, that I say hi. Thank you for writing in. Okay, this message is from Sadie. Hi, Christina, Jamie, and Allison. My name is Sadie, and I am 31. I have had chronic illness most of my life. It has been a journey with multiple brain surgeries and still figuring it all out. I'm struggling because I say I'm good, but I'm dying inside. I don't want to be negative all the time, but it's my reality. It's getting harder to hide the struggle. Any tips on being real with people and sharing the struggle, but not sounding negative? I don't want pity. I have been encouraged to write a book of my journey, and so I am in the process of that. Christina and Jamie's book has given me the inspiration to start. Thank you for the realness. I am right there in this shit show with you. Well, first of all, I'm so glad that you are writing a book. That's awesome. Let that be the outlet on the days that you don't feel comfortable enough to share. Let that be the space for you to do that. Honestly, writing my book was that. I had people in my own family, my own husband that learned things about me in reading my book. I didn't share everything all the time. I've gotten better at it, but I was, as you read, was terrible at it for decades. You've been through so much. I don't think you have to worry about sounding negative or getting pity. I have no doubt that the people around you that love you see your struggle and see all that you've been through. And like my friends have had to teach me, want to be let in on what's going on. You'll find the balance. You don't sound like somebody that's going to lean in super hard and go all the way pendulum swing to be negative Nancy. You have to be able to share what's going on. You have to be able to get that up and out of your body and off your heart. So challenge, just try this week. Try for a couple of days, one day, to say out loud what you're feeling in a moment to a friend. Call a friend. Just say, hey, do you have some time? I'm struggling right now. I shouldn't say I love when I get phone calls like that, but when I do, I feel appreciative that I get to be the listening ear for other people. I think people underestimate how good it feels to feel needed and to feel on the other side of something that you might be able to help somebody walk through a difficult moment. I'm proud of you, Sadie. Keep going. Okay. This next one is from Julie. Dear Jamie and Christina, I deeply appreciate all the stories shared on Messy, particularly because they illuminate the raw truth of humanity. In 2007, I suffered a back injury that set my nervous system on fire. I thought the back pain was unbelievable until my body's trauma set its sight on my pelvic floor. For years, no doctor was able to help, and I could barely get out of bed. Laying in the dark with as little stimulation as possible did nothing to curb the pain. but it was all I could do. I would hear my son, who is profoundly autistic, have fits and could do nothing to help. My daughter would come home after a socially difficult day at school, and it took all I had in my soul to be there for her. 3:00 and the mask would come on until I could finally get back into my cocoon. Of course, opioids were prescribed and felt like a godsend until it was time to get off them. Not for the faint of heart, but I did it. Many surgeries later, where doctors threw darts at my body trying to stop the pain, my uterus and 3/4 of my intestines cut out, I remained disabled. Finally, Humira has been helpful, and my pelvic floor has quieted. While flare-ups and back pain will always be with me, nothing compares to how I felt in those years, nor to how I am feeling now for my son. When you are a parent caregiving for an adult with profound autism, you are exhausted from decades of chronic sorrow as you grieve what could have been with each unmet and uncelebrated milestone. This pain is multiplied as I grieve for myself as well as my son. Miles brings intensity to our life on all levels, but most importantly and heartbreakingly, he is intensely pure. There is no layer of artifice, calculation, or manipulation. He is him, and you are you. Within that space, all I want to do is embrace the gift of what he brings to my life and protect his fragility. It is beautiful and tragic. The emotional enormity of raising a young child with profound autism was significant, but also offset by possibility, engagement, and community. It hurt to see your child develop differently, but there were actions to take. There was counterbalance that brought energy and even joy amidst my personal physical pain. Within a few years, and far too soon, chronic sorrow partnered with a beast of an emotion for which I am unsure of a name. What is the name for when you do not know how to ensure your child will be safe and happy when you are gone? It is not anticipatory grief where you know death is coming for your loved person. There is anticipation and there is grief, but there is no finish line in sight that once crossed may exist a semblance of peace. It is a limbo in which you are grateful for and love intensely, yet wish you could experience their loss so you had the knowledge each and every of their days were full of safety, security, love, laughter, and kindness. Sometimes there are no answers. There truly is no safety net. All we can ask is for our grief and fear to be witnessed. Sincerely, Julie. Well, you share and write so eloquently of your grief and experience and the whole entirety of it, the love and the beauty and unique magic of your son, yet the real, genuine fear, anxiety, and grief you have for him and the way he has to navigate this life, and you knowing you might not be there for all of it. And on top of that, your own pain and not feeling like you could have been, again, feeling, not a fact, the mom that you wanted to be because of what you were going through. My heart is heavy for you. I wish I had a sage piece of advice for you. But the only thing that I have found to help me through moments, and again, I say this really gently because I do not and cannot understand the enormity of all you are holding. But having some foundation of faith, no matter what it is, whatever clicks for your brain, whatever tickles your fancy, like whatever makes you feel connected, something to call on that will give you a safety net, even if it's bullshit, even if it's not real. There's nothing, we can't prove it. We can't prove it. But it just makes it a little easier to get through. Just having some entity to talk to pray to invite into your experience. I hope I'm making sense, because the way that you have shared deserves a proper response, and I fear I'm unable to give you what you deserve, but I'm trying. And the only thing that's coming to me again in this moment is for you and your family to find something that you can lean on. You are a strong motherfucker, Julie, and your son is no doubt like a magical gift, and he's having to fit in boxes that aren't made for magical people sometimes, and that's really hard. Have you listened to the telepathy tapes? I'm probably not telling you again anything you don't know. More than anything, I want to thank you, Julie, for your strength and your courage, for writing in and sharing. Again, I have no doubt, like every other letter that I've read, that this is resonating and meant to be read, not just for me, but for whoever may be listening. I pray for your peace and your comfort, and that you find that safety net, because you deserve it more than anything.
Support for Messy comes from Lola Blankets. I don't think I can remember what my life was like before a Lola Blanket. We've got one on every bed, on every couch, in every room. And guess what? I just got 2 new puppies, and guess what they got? Lola beds. This is just not even the perfect thing for everyone in your life, the perfect gift to give anyone in your life, because we're talking about the world's #1 blanket. It is crafted with ultra soft luxury faux fur. It is a signature 4-way stretch that people instantly obsess over. It is machine washable. It is double hemmed. It is built to last for years. It is truly a meaningful and long-term gift for everyone, but especially yourself. It's become my go-to. I have no idea what to get them. And my go-to, I need to feel cozy, where's my Lola blanket? For a limited time, our listeners can get 40% off select Lola blanket products when you use code MESSY at checkout. Just head to lolablankets.com and use code MESSY. After you purchase, they will ask where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Wrap yourself in luxury with Lola blankets. Support for Messy comes from ZocDoc. Are you moving to a new city? Did you start a new job or have new insurance? That can get in the way of your doctors, and all of a sudden you feel like, I'm not going to prioritize it. I'll get to it later. No. We need to prioritize our health. And listen, it's a pain point to find a doctor that works in your network, to find a new doctor in general. Well, that's why ZocDoc has you covered. ZocDoc lets you search and compare local, in-network doctors. You can pick and choose which ones you want. They have more than 15,000 providers with 200 plus specialties across all states. So we're talking, dentists, cosmetic, neurologist, GP, all the things you can think of. There's a website has tons of reviews from real patients and detailed doctor profiles to help you choose the right one. You actually see their appointment openings, so you're not waiting online with boring hold music, and you click and instantly book a visit. Appointments also happen fast, sometimes within 24 to 72 hours. Your health matters, and taking care of yourself shouldn't be complicated. Find and book the right doctor with ZocDoc. Head to ZocDoc.com/messy to get started and check that appointment off your to-do list. That's ZocDoc.com/messy.
I am so excited to share with you guys that I will be launching a mini 10-part series here on the Messy feed called Living With It. We wanted to give you guys even more each week, and I want to share the stories of people who have persevered through something difficult and who share how they have pivoted and adjusted things in their lives. We'll also talk to a few experts to help us navigate these moments in all different ways, and I can't wait for you to listen. Okay, this next one is from Patricia. I just want to say thank you for this wonderful program. The two of you bring me joy and hope. I love your take on battling your challenges with grace and humor. I don't have MS, but battle my own issues, lupus and CPTSD. Lately, I'm battling mostly with what's called change of life, and that's its own set of problems. I would love to hear more about that on your show. If you touched on that, excuse me. I haven't gotten to all the episodes. I will dive into other shows. Keep them coming. I love your work. It's so beneficial to many. Thank you. Change of life. Are you referring to like a change, like a relationship, a job, you're moving, a disease? Like, I guess any change of life requires flexibility. It requires the softness that I was talking about at the top of the episode. It requires acknowledgement. It requires grit. It requires sensitivity. It requires openness. We can't do them all at once, but I find that in my life, when I've had dramatic changes of life or situations like that, they've been my biggest growing moments. They've been calls back to myself where it's almost like nothing, it's not like I had to seek for any answers. They were always like things that stopped me in my track and made me look inside, making me remember I still had more work to do inside, making me remember that there were things that I could call in, making me remember past versions of myself that not only needed healing, that I needed to call on for support. Like I needed to remember parts of myself. I needed to remember talents I've had. I need to remember strength that I've had. I need to reflect and say, I've been through hardship before. I can do it again. So while it was a little vague, I can just say I think change of life is inevitable, but they can be our hero moments, and they are. And it's not easy, and it's not simple, and they don't all look the same. But there is another side to them. Okay, this next one is from Cassie. Hi, girls. Just wanted to say thank you. I'm 33 years old with 3 boys. Wowza. I am in the beginning stage. I'm in what they're calling the waiting stage, which has been extremely hard. I'd lost my mom back in October, which triggered an inflammation in my spine, causing me to lose function in one leg and numbness in my torso. During the hard days, I came across your podcast, and it really helped me in accepting if this is what my life has ahead for me. I love both of your ladies' attitude towards MS. It's okay to say this sucks, but to also know I'm going to kick its ass after I'm done laying in bed crying. Thank you for making me feel like life is going to be okay either way. It will, Cassie, and you're going to have many days of lying in bed crying, and you're going to have many days of kicking its ass. And rinse, repeat. Is that what it is? Rinse, wash, repeat? What is it? Rinse, something like that, right? It's just life, baby. And that's what we're here for. We're going through it with you. We've got you. All right, we got a dude. We got Brett. I was recently diagnosed with primary progressive MS and start my first treatment this coming Friday. Ready to get it started and hopefully get some of my symptoms calmed. I'm still able to work, but I get so worn out by the end of the day. I'm not going to let this get me down because I'm looking at it as I have MS, but to me, it does not mean multiple sclerosis, but it means more strength. I've always read about your journey, and now I'm doing it with you. Hope everything keeps going good for you guys. You too, Brett. More strength. There is no doubt that people that are given MS are shown how much strength they have. So you've got this, bro. Speaking like a true boy mom, huh? Okay, Andrea. Hi, ladies. I love you both so much. I listen to Messy every chance I get. I have been living with this monster for 26 years. I used to live in survival mode, raising 2 kids by myself. I would push and push every day, and now that my kids are grown, and I finally started going to therapy 4 years ago, because it all hit me. Severe depression, seizures, flare-ups. I am so thankful I made that step to finally talk about it, all the trauma and the physical daily pain. I use medical marijuana to manage pain and other symptoms, and it helps. I've been on Ocrevus for about 6 years, and I'm still fighting. I cry when I listen to you both, not in a bad way, but because I get it. Thank you for creating this platform for all us messy people. You know, Andrea, I just want to also acknowledge and say that, don't feel the pressure also. We talk about therapy and how much it's important to talk about all of your stuff, but sometimes life just doesn't allow that, whether it's financially, time, whatever. I am a prime example of somebody who's, grinned and bared it for many, many years and sort of dealt with it later. And I don't want anyone to feel pressure that there's one way to do it. You didn't do anything wrong by dealing with your pain in this timing that you have. You were raising 2 kids by yourself. You had to do what you had to do. I'm just so glad that you have found the time and space for yourself and your family to be able to do that now. I'm actually tired today, guys. I know you get it. So I hope you're okay with a bit of a shorter episode. I literally just pulled the card, have no idea what it says. I'm about to read it to you all. The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy, said by the late, great Martin Luther King Jr. And what a perfect card to end with. We've got this, guys. We're standing in the shit, but I'm telling you, I know it feels hard, but I can promise you, because it's how I feel about all of you, and I can remind myself, you are admired and you are celebrated and you are championed for everything you do and face every day. And don't you forget it. I love you all, and so it is.
This show is executive produced by Christina Applegate, Jamie-Lynn Sigler, and Allison Bresnick. Our audio engineer is Josh Windisch.
And if you want to show us some love, don't forget to leave the show a rating or review. Hi, it's Jamie. Thanks for listening. I just want to let you know I am a paid spokesperson for Novartis, but this podcast is independent from my collaboration with Novartis.